Dear viewers, don't forget to like this video and subscribe this channel. Enjoy your listening.
Hi everyone. It all started about 6 months ago. My wife Emily and I had been married for 7 years. We weren't perfect, but who is? We had 2 kids together, our son Noah, who is 6, and our daughter Lily, who is 3. I thought we had built a solid foundation, but looking back, maybe I was just naive. Emily had been feeling under the weather for a while. At first, it seemed like your standard flu, tired, a bit of a fever, that kind of thing. But then she started complaining about more specific symptoms. I won't go into too much detail, but let's just say they were intimate issues. She was embarrassed and reluctant to go to the doctor, but I convinced her it was the right thing to do. When the test results came back, everything unraveled. It was a Saturday afternoon. I remember the kids were playing in the backyard, and I was making lunch when Emily got the call from her doctor. She looked pale as she listened, and then her face turned bright red. She hung up quickly and wouldn't meet my eyes. "What did they say?" I asked, worried. She mumbled something about needing a follow-up appointment, but wouldn't give me a straight answer. I've always trusted her, so I didn't push right away, but over the next few days, she became distant, constantly on edge, and avoided being alone with me. It was like living with a stranger. So, finally, after I couldn't take the tension anymore, I confronted her. "Emily, what's going on? You've been acting weird ever since that phone call. Just tell me the truth." She broke down sobbing, which only made me more confused and scared. When she finally spoke, her words hit me like a freight train. "I tested positive for an STD." I froze. At first, I didn't even know how to process it. "What do you mean?" I asked, my voice shaking. "How is that even possible?" And then it clicked. The only way this could happen was if she had been with someone else. "Who was it?" I demanded, my heart pounding. "Who have you been with?" She couldn't even look at me. Through her tears, she admitted that she'd been having an affair with someone she met at work, a coworker, someone I'd met before at one of her office parties. The humiliation and betrayal cut deeper than I thought possible. I didn't yell, I didn't cry, I just walked out of the room. I needed air, I needed to think. My whole marriage felt like a lie, and I didn't know what to do next. The next few days were a blur. Emily kept trying to apologize, saying it was a mistake, that she'd ended it months ago, and she never meant to hurt me. But how do you come back from something like this? Every time I looked at her, all I could think about was her betrayal. But the final straw came a week later at her follow-up appointment. Emily's condition had worsened, and her doctor recommended she undergo additional testing and treatment. This wasn't going to be cheap, and as the primary breadwinner, I knew I'd be the one footing the bill. That's when I realized something. Emily's choices had put my health at risk too. I had to get tested. And worse, I had to think about our kids. What if her affair had brought something into our lives that could hurt them? I went to the hospital with her that day, more out of duty than love. She was scared and kept reaching for my hand, but I couldn't bring myself to comfort her. During her consultation, the doctor mentioned the cost of treatment, and Emily glanced at me nervously. She knew she was asking me to clean up her mess, to pay for the consequences of her infidelity. And that's when something inside me snapped. I realized I didn't owe her anything. She had betrayed me, put my health at risk, and shattered the life we'd built together. Why should I stick around and make it easier for her? As she was wheeled into another room for tests, I stood up and walked out of the hospital. I left her there with the bills, the shame, and the consequences of her actions. I would remember that for the rest of my life. When I got home, I started packing. I wasn't just leaving her at the hospital, I was leaving her for good. I packed up my things and the kids' essentials. I couldn't bear the thought of staying in that house with her any longer. When Emily called me later, panicked and crying, I told her the truth. "I'm done," I said. "You made your choices, and now you can deal with the fallout. I'm taking the kids, and I'll be filing for divorce." She begged me to come back to talk, to try therapy, but I couldn't do it. I had to think about my kids and myself. Staying in that toxic situation would have destroyed me, and it wasn't the kind of environment I wanted for Noah and Lily. It's been 3 months since that day. The divorce is still in progress, but I've moved into an apartment with the kids, and we're starting to rebuild our lives. Emily's family has been supportive, but they're also pressuring me to forgive and forget for the sake of the kids. I've told them it's not that simple. Forgiveness might come with time, but trust, it's a whole different story. The first few weeks after leaving were the hardest. The kids were confused and kept asking why mommy wasn't with us. I tried to explain it in the simplest way possible without giving them too much detail. Mommy and daddy need some time apart, I'd say. But Noah's a smart kid. He knew something was wrong, and I could see the worry in his eyes. On top of the emotional weight, there were practical challenges. Suddenly I was a single dad, juggling work, school drop-offs, play dates, and everything else. It was overwhelming at first, but it also gave me a sense of purpose. My kids needed me, and I wasn't going to let them down. Emily's attempts to make amends have been complicated. She's apologized more times than I can count, sent letters, tried to meet with me, and even asked mutual friends to intervene on her behalf. But every time I hear her voice or see her name pop up on my phone, I'm reminded of the pain she caused. It's not just the affair, it's the lies, the risk to my health, and the fact that she was willing to jeopardize our family for her own selfish desires. Her family's been a mixed bag. Her parents are devastated by what happened. They've been supportive of me and the kids, but I can tell they're torn. On one hand, they want to help their daughter. On the other, they know she's the one who messed up. They've offered to help with the kids, which I've appreciated, but I've made it clear that I'm not interested in reconciling with Emily. There have been moments of doubt. Late at night when the kids are asleep and the apartment is quiet, I've caught myself wondering if I made the right decision. Should I have tried harder to work things out for the sake of the kids? But then I think about the example I want to set for them. I want Noah and Lily to grow up knowing that love is built on trust and respect, and that it's okay to walk away from situations that hurt you. Therapy has been a lifesaver. I've been seeing a counselor once a week to process everything, and it's helped me unpack a lot of the anger and sadness. I've also started taking the kids to a family therapist to help them adjust to the changes. Noah has been opening up more, sharing how he feels about not seeing mommy every day. Lily's too young to fully understand, but I can tell she senses the tension. But one of the hardest parts has been dealing with mutual friends. Some have been incredibly supportive, while others have taken sides. A few people have even tried to downplay what Emily did, saying things like, "Everyone makes mistakes," or "You should have seen it coming if she was that unhappy." Those comments hurt more than I'd like to admit. They make me question myself, even though deep down, I know I did the right thing. Financially, things have been tight. Between legal fees, moving expenses, and the cost of therapy, it's been a strain. But I've been budgeting carefully and focusing on what matters most: the kids. They're my priority, and I'll do whatever it takes to make sure they have a stable, happy life. Emily's medical situation has also been a source of stress. I've kept my distance, but I've heard through the grapevine that her treatment has been difficult. Part of me feels sorry for her. No one deserves to go through that kind of pain. But then I remember that she brought this on herself. Her choices led to this, and she has to face the consequences. Recently, I've started to feel a sense of closure. I'm not fully healed, and I know the road ahead will have its challenges, but I'm beginning to see a future where this betrayal doesn't define me. I've started reconnecting with old friends, picking up hobbies I'd neglected, and focusing on being the best dad I can be. To anyone listening who's been through something similar, my heart goes out to you. Betrayal like this doesn't just hurt, it changes you. But I've learned that walking away isn't weakness. Sometimes it's the only way to find strength and protect what really matters. You don't have to stay in a situation that breaks you. You deserve better, and so do your kids.
Thanks for listening this story. Share your opinion in comments below. See you in next video.